Hey guys, so today my plan for my video was to introduce everybody to Landon. He wanted nothing to do with that. He did not want to sit here and be in my lap. He wanted nothing to do with sitting here. He just screamed. So he's out with his dad doing whatever they're doing. So regardless of him being here, I still wanted to kind of introduce him, kind of tell a little more about him. I wanted to touch up on my birth and some struggles I had after my birth and the choices I made regarding his birth and all that stuff. So to get started, I had a birth center birth, a water birth. He was born in the water. He was born on January 22nd. He was 6 pounds, 13 ounces, and 19.5 inches long. He cried a lot at the very beginning. We chose to delay cord clamp. So we didn't clamp the cord until it was done pulsing, and lots of skin to skin at the beginning. He never left my site. I did have a little bit of bleeding, so he did a little bit of skin to skin with my mom while they touched that up. Also, I tore, so they did some stitches with that, and after they fixed all the bleeding and everything, he came directly to me, so we did skin to skin, we did immediate nursing, all that stuff. Some things that we did not do after birth, such as like the Hep B shot, the vitamin K shot, the eye ointment for their eyes. The only thing that we chose to do was the was the vitamin K. From what I believe, the vitamin K is to help clot blood, so that is the reason we did that. As far as the eye ointment, we chose to opt out because I adore my midwife, so I asked a lot of questions and I asked what her recommendations were on top of my research, and I just did not see a need for the eye ointment. My research and my midwife had told me that the eye ointment is to keep babies from going blind if they are introduced to any STDs, or if the mom was at risk or had any STDs such as like chlamydia and those kind of STDs during pregnancy. I was not exposed and I did not have any, so I just did not see a need for the eye ointment. The other one was the Hep B shot. I just didn't see a need for that either. He's not exposed and I just did not see a real necessity for it. Another thing we chose to opt out of was circumcision. I did a lot of talking with my midwife, and I did research. I do follow the whole network, and there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's just a lot of research that's proven that there is no medical necessity. I don't think it's wrong if you get it done. That's your choice. That was just the choice that we had made for our son. So as far as birth goes, yeah, I was in a birth center, water birth, no pain meds, no nothing like that. The only intervention I had was I went in at 40 weeks and 2 days, and at that appointment my midwife had asked if I wanted her to strip my membranes. At 40 plus 2 I was just done, so I went ahead and said okay to do that, and which afterwards she sat down and said, hey, this may or may not work. If your body is dead set ready to go into labor, you will go into labor. If you're just not at that point yet, you won't. And I did. I had him that day. I had started contractions before I had even left their office. So my body was obviously very ready to be in labor as far as I'm aware. So I came home and I labored in my bathtub for a little bit. My first baby, I was a little scared, so I didn't do a ton of laboring at home. I think I got home about 11. I called my mom, or Jimmy, one of the two, I don't really remember, called my midwife, and we met up at the birth center at 2, and I had Landon at 9:19 p.m. So it went pretty fast for a first-time mom, and so that's how that went. One more thing that I opted out of my pregnancy was the glucose test. I did not take it. My midwife went through all the risk factors with me. So if I didn't have a family history, which I do have a family history of diabetes, but with that said, the history is only for the elderly and with obesity. As far as like with birth, nobody has had it. So And I didn't have any of the other risk factors, not one. So I just went ahead and opted out. Some of the risk factors we talked about were big babies. I've never had a baby, and my baby was not very big, or was average. He wasn't huge, or massive weight gain. I gained 10 pounds my whole pregnancy, so that obviously was not a risk factor. There were a few others I can't remember, but those were just the 3 things I remembered right offhand. So I did not take that. I have no idea what that sugary drink tastes like. Thank goodness, because at that point I did a lot of vomiting and I was just very nervous for the texture and the taste. I didn't want to do it. So that's another thing I had opted out of. So anyways, after the birth center birth, we left home. We left the birth center 3 hours after he was born. We came home, we got in our bed. He was born on a Wednesday, so on Friday my midwife had came to our house and did his little checkup and did everything she needed to do. Everything was going smoothly. I did have latching problems at the very beginning. Something with the latch was not working. I had a friend that his mom is a lactation consultant, so she had texted me a ton of pictures on how the latch should look, and just through pictures and stuff I got the latch right. So I pumped a few nights. It was really terrible, but I pumped a few nights and very quickly we got through the latch. So Landon was gaining weight. The lowest weight he got after birth was 6 pounds 10 ounces, so he only lost 3 ounces. So regardless of the latch, he was eating very well. And then the next struggle I had, I think at my week or 2 week appointment, I went in and I just had this white stuff all over me, and I asked her what it was, and it hadn't hurt that bad at that point, but it was getting there. And so I ended up getting thrush. I think it was because the getting cracked and breaking from the wrong latch just was a point for the yeast to get in. So I did get thrush. It was the most terrible pain I have ever felt. She recommended, I go to a midwife. I wanted to do natural for Landon. I'm not perfect. I am not 100% natural. I do my best. I do my best to do natural. I don't eat canned vegetables, but I will eat frozen. And plus in Alaska, it's really hard to get a ton of natural stuff. It's just, we're just so secluded out here, and it's so expensive what is here. So I do my best. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do eat fast food. I do drink soda, just one, but I do drink it. But I do try my best to be natural. So with that said, I opt for to do oils before I'll take an ibuprofen. I do not take it very often though. So anyways, she suggested to use an apple cider melaleuca rinse on me and to put on a Q-tip and put it in Landon's mouth. And in about a week I should see symptoms starting to clear up. It was insanely painful. His latch made me shake. I cried. It was awful. The rinse burned me, so I can only imagine what he was feeling. I just broke my heart every time I put that stuff in his mouth. It was just very terrible. Not even a week into that, I called the other midwife who had attended my birth, who I loved, and she recommended trying gentian violet. So on top of the apple cider vinegar rinse, we tried gentian violet. A week and a half to 2 weeks into that, nothing was subsiding. It was to the point where I was actually resenting my baby when he needed to eat, and it was so terrible. I told Jimmy multiple times that I would rather be in labor than deal with thrush. I just, to this day, I don't know, it was just terrible. I can't believe I resented him, and it wasn't his fault, it wasn't my fault. It was just the pain was so terrible. So I gave up on the natural remedies, and I called and I said, hey, I need medicine, and I need it now. I don't care about natural, I just need this stuff gone. If I do not get it gone, I will quit breastfeeding. That is how horrible it is. So I did give him formula in that. He did get a little bit of formula because I couldn't handle the latch. I pumped, and that it wasn't too bad to pump. It was the latch that was the most terrible for me. And so he did get a little bit of formula in that. But after we took some medicine, I took a lot of rounds. I think it took about 4 months for the thrush to completely be gone, to not have any traces, not any pain. So that was a very long 4 months for me. I don't really remember what medicines I took. I know they first started me off with, yeah, I don't remember. I just tried, but I couldn't remember. So I tried one medicine, and then I did another round of that, and then they gave me some stuff called magic nipple cream. It is magic. As soon as I got that, within a day of using that, my pain was gone. So my thrush was not gone, and Landon's thrush was not gone, but the pain was gone, and that was the thing that needed to go away, was my pain, so that I can get past the thrush hurdle, and it was a hurdle. So that was like the main thing that I struggled with after he was born. Like I said, it took 4 months to go away. I saw this little pin on Pinterest that said it's like the first 3 weeks or the first 6 weeks of breastfeeding is the hardest. Anyways, it went into after 3 months, you're glad you went through it. That was definitely it for me. About 4 months, we went on a vacation to see my dad in Arizona, and at that point, I'm pretty, like, most of the yeast was just gone. So, man, I do not wish that on anybody. Just is terrible. So anyways, that's what I went through with that. Besides that, my afterbirth was great. I expected to be in a lot more pain after I had him than I was. I didn't use like the frozen pads. I didn't use the Tux wipes. I kind of just pushed through it, and it was uncomfortable, yes, but it wasn't, for me, it wasn't that terrible. So afterbirth was definitely a lot easier for me than birth. I know sometimes it's the other way around. Some people can just have an easy breezy birth, and then afterbirth is the worst. But while my birth was not easy breezy, I feel like I was super loud. They told me that I wasn't that bad, but I did use my breathing techniques and my low tones when I breathed out. That's what helped me get through. Also, the other midwife that was there told me this really cool thing called, she said when you breathe in and then you breathe out to blow raspberries, and that keeps your tone low, because I think at transition I started getting really frustrated and I would like scream instead of blowing low, so that really, really helped me. So if you're going into labor and you were trying to do it naturally and the low breathing just is not coming to you at a point, try raspberries. It really does work. So anyways, so that is my birth choices, my afterbirth experience, all that stuff. Landon is now 9 months old. It is crazy how fast it has gone. I just cannot believe it. In 3 months he's going to be a year, and that just blows my mind. He's super curious. He gets into everything. Once he started crawling, he was gone. He gets into cupboards. He gets into everything he's not supposed to. If it's a toy and he can play with it, he does not want it. He wants anything he can't have, which is hilarious. His favorite things are, he loves Frozen. I think it's the music more than anything, more than the movie, but he loves that movie so much. Just recently, he started loving to play with kids. Kids come over, like my little brother and sister, they're 9 and 7. They play with him, and they play with him all day, and he just loves it. He eats that up. That he like chases them around the room and all that stuff. He has 2 teeth, and his top 2 teeth just recently, like in the last 2 days, I noticed they popped through, which is awesome. And last time he had his teeth popped through, he had like 103-degree fever, and it was terrible. But this time, he's been a little fussier, but pretty much he hasn't had a fever or anything. I didn't even notice. I was like flipping him upside down on the couch because he loves that. He is crazy. He's like a little daredevil. He wants to be upside down. He loves it when you swing him and throw him, and he just cracks up. So he'll like sit on the couch with me, and I'll just hang him upside down off the couch, and he'll just watch Frozen or whatever, and he thinks it's the funniest thing. So anyways, I was doing that yesterday, and I noticed that he had a tooth, and then later that day he had, or like just barely popped through, and then later last night he did get a little bit sick, and he like popped a little bit of a fever, and then he had another one on the other side. So that was crazy. So there's that. His favorite food is avocado. He loves avocado. He will just eat, he'll eat a whole avocado if I give him a whole avocado. He eats that stuff up. He really dislikes sweet potatoes. Cannot stand them. It's up to the point, like I've introduced it enough. He just looks at me like I'm stupid when I put it on his tray. Doesn't have anything to do with it. Other things as far as eating goes, I decided to go with baby-led weaning for the most part. When he started eating, I did mash his food a little bit because it was nerve-wracking for me. So I did mash it and give it to him for a little bit. But 6.5, 7 months, I just started giving him chunks of food, and now I just give him a big chunk of avocado and he just eats it up. I can give him an apple slice and he just eats it. I don't have to soften it or anything, and that's great. And he even did that before he had teeth, so it's way easier on me. He's never had a jar of baby food once. However, when we are out and about like all day, it's way easier, unless we stop at a restaurant or something, it's easier to get those pouches. I get the organic ones. He loves those, but he doesn't get them just hanging around the house. He just gets them if we're having a really busy day and it's just easy to just give it to him and he eats it up. So those are some of his favorite things. His favorite toys, he has a ball pit. We just recently got him a ball pit, and he ignored it for a little bit, but now he loves it. And he has this little laptop, and he just opens and closes it a ton of times, and it's just hilarious for him, so that's funny. Favorite person. His favorite person is his dad. Loves his dad. He will wake up in the morning, sit straight up and go, "Dad, Dad," and it's so funny. Jimmy's like man cave is like in our garage, and we have to go outside and just to the right, left a little bit to get to our garage, and he will go to the door and just sit there and go, "Dad, Dad, 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 Dad," until Dad comes in or Dad comes home or whatever it is. He just loves his dad. And so for favorites, that's about all. He crawls, he stands up on the couch and he'll just walk along the couch. I think this kid is so ready to walk, so ready. He just wants to stand on things all the time. If he could just get up and walk, he would. He just has a little bit of a balance problem, and actually yesterday he stood up for like 3 minutes just by himself. He was holding onto a drawer and he just let go and was chewing on what he was chewing on and didn't even notice. But as soon as I said something, of course, he fell right over, so that was funny. So I think we're getting there. I think before a year he will be walking. I hope so. We'll see. But anyways, he just had his 9-month appointment, so this is the last thing I'm going to touch up on with Landon, and hopefully next video I can put him in the video and he won't be a little turd. But so we just had his 9-month appointment. He is 21 pounds and 7 ounces, which is giant to me. He's 29 inches long, and those are both in the 75 percentile. And then his head, this is an ongoing joke with my midwife, his head grew faster than his body. He just had this huge old head. So even now his head's in the 90% at 18.5 inches around, and like literally no baby hats, like either one size fits all winter baby hats don't fit him. I have to like go into the toddler section so that they're like around his ears. It's so funny. And he hates hats anyways. He doesn't even like them. He just pulls them off. So it's kind of a waste of time for me. But so yeah, that's a little bit about Landon, a little bit into my birth, things I opted out of, things I decided to do, and reasons why. At 9 months, we are still breastfeeding, and we co-sleep, so he nurses at nighttime all night, and it's exhausting. He wakes up a few times a night, and I'm really trying to night wean. I don't think that, or his doctor at his 9-month appointment said he doesn't need to be nursing all night. So we're trying to get him off that. Pretty soon, I think by a little after a year, I'm going to have him sleeping in his own bed. I think a year is good to be sleeping with me. The first year is great, and that's what I want. And then after that, I think he's ready to be in his own bed after that. So I'll update you guys on how night weaning is going and how sleeping in his own crib is going. We're actually going to be redoing his crib. I could not find a black crib anywhere I wanted, so we're going to paint it and then get his superhero room going. It's going to be awesome. So look forward to that and look for my next video. I'm super excited to have a next video for you guys. I've been slacking. My sister's like on point with these videos and I'm just slacking off. So anyways, look for my next video. Hopefully I'll get one out tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time.